The love of one's country is a splendid thing, but does it stop at the border? Unless our conception of patriotism is progressive, it cannot hope to embody the real affection and the real interest of the nation and the whole society at large. It is because of patriotism and love of our culture that this young gentleman proudly flaunts the beauty of being Kenyan.
My name is Reuben King'ori. I'm a marketer by profession. I run a company, a startup called Promote Kenya Limited. So this is a marketing and innovations startup that aims to create awareness about Kenya. By Kenya, we mean Kenyan brands and companies, Kenyan history, heritage and culture, and Kenyan products. But how do we do this? We do it through experiential marketing. So marketing has shifted to an experience. Now, when you experience a brand, you relate more with it. Traditional forms of advertising work, but we can create intrigue and beat the drums about Kenya in very creative, exciting manners. So we basically aim to let people take notice of Kenya. And there's a good vibe going around Kenya right now. So we want to ride on that wave, but using modern things which people see in movies, we're bringing them to life. Like things you only see in series abroad. Now we're trying to merge them, and in the process sell Kenya, tell people about Kenyan culture. So these are things like hologram shows, 3D hologram shows, augmented virtual reality, video and projection mapping. There's also a very nice concept we've been running called outdoor movies. So whereby we play on big LED screens, we play movies that, one, talk about Kenyan history, were shot in Kenya, and now there's a new phase we're going into, made in Kenya. So we want to promote and create awareness about Kenya, basically.
After spending some moments listening to Reuben, I can't help but wonder what has shaped his life to be this passionate about his own country and culture, a thing that is not very popular among the young in this generation.
I was born in Buruburu. I went to school in Buruburu at once, a school called Harambe Primary. And then I later transferred to a school called Josie Preparatory in Limuru. Then I grew up I'm as happy as they come, the way you see me relating. And I think God gave me that people skills. And I think that's how I modeled my profession around that. I have a way, I like making friends wherever I go, I connect with people. I like, life is for the living. So God gave you a gift, maximize on it. So I'm happy that I can channel a career out of that. After primary in Buruburu and Limuru, I went to Kiambu High School. And then later I joined Kenya School of Monetary Studies. I did banking and financial services. And then I went to Kenyatta University. I did marketing. And then I finished, I did a diploma in business and ICT. Postgraduate, I did IT as well. And yeah, so I'm still pursuing that line of marketing, but so far that's where we are, and it's really been an interesting journey. When I was growing up, there was a hype around Buruburu. It used to be like a swag point. You would say, I'm from Buru, and it would look a bit cool back in the day. It was a mini leafy suburb. But also, the good thing about growing up in Eastlands, it teaches you to blend everywhere. Like you can slot in Buru and you're speaking Sheng 1 minute. The next hour you're in Lavington or you're in a hotel in Kileleshwa and you're speaking very fine English. It gives you a good point. And we are lucky we're living in the times of the hustler government. Because you need the spirit of hustle too. It ingrains with you a culture of hustle hard, like go hard. Growing up in Buruburu, I used to love football, so it allowed me to express myself in playing, singing, my school. As good as they come. I was fortunate enough I was in a good neighborhood, so I won't say that I had those stories of I grew up in crime. Of course, there's the 1-2 incidents you hear, but thank God he protected us. We never had those incidences. Maybe the occasional 1-2, you're in town, they steal your phone and what. But yeah, I'd say I was rather fortunate. I was blessed at least.
The music festivals, education, upbringing, description of the surrounding.
Back then in school, remember there's traditional dances where you'd bend and do you move your back like that. I remember I was in one of those, but I never really understood why I was doing it. I just felt they've told us to do it, so I would do it. And then later on, I remember during music festivals and drama festivals, I was really keen on those things. Choral verses, facial expressions. I remember we went up to nationals, we were #1. I was in the front line, so I could tell my emotions contributed to this win, or so I think. But yeah, I feel like that conversation started back then. But also molding my personality, the way my mom brought us up. We used to get praises from the estate. Guys would be like, watoto wamelelewa vizuri, good mannered. Now you know the society is your mirror. Where you can't say I'm a good person. Where you wait, but you try and usiishi na fujo na mtu, like you just. Now for me, I would greet everyone. And like we'd be walking, guys would be like, where you MP habits? That time tulikuwa na MP. Like you're greeting everyone, it's like you're an MP. But I guess I know so many people. So I guess that formed my personality, being happy around everyone, and like life was just for the living for me. And I feel that also blended well with my career again, because it gave me ways of connecting with people. Like when I was young, I remember we'd go somewhere, then someone shouts at you. For me, I'm thinking, what's your problem? Like, why are you angry? Unashautia watoto. And I guess I carried that mentality all over. Of course, nowadays, now with the space of mental health, it's helped you to take care of your energy. You just don't let those negative vibes around you. But I guess, top of my head, that's what I would think made me the personality I am. And also, again, growing in Eastlands, you meet all kinds of characters. Let me give you an example of sports. You would go, you play, you beat some team, then after the game, they beat you, na mawe, na nini. You know those things, eh? Haitiki kushindwa, and maybe that also shaped us when you grow in life. You know, it's like a game.
Seeing a gap in the market, Ruth took it upon himself to make Kenya known to his brethren and the world at large by exploring and bringing people to have these beautiful experiences.
When it comes to marketing culture and selling culture, we've done a number of events, especially we've done the outdoor movies. So we do screenings on a very nice, I should get you a ticket to come for one of those. Big LED screens, then you have people come with either Masai shukas, the others who even come with pillows and mattress, like proper outdoor experience. Then you do a very nice setup. Then you play content that wows you and teaches you about your history. Like we played a movie that tells you why Karen was called Karen, for instance. That's an aspect of history we don't know. We played some movies that show the history of the Manitas of Savo at the national parks. So Promote Kenya really leverages on experiential marketing. So here we give experiences that are interactive, immersive, disruptive, things that make you say, wow. On this disruptive, interactive, and experiential stuff. So we do things like virtual and augmented reality. Like you see those virtual reality kits, but now we have shows in there that show Kenyan destinations, can tell a Kenyan story. Like we can spin this content in all exciting manners. We do 3D hologram shows. We do a hologram net whereby you show 3D images and you curate a show and you can tell images in 3D. It just wows you. It's like a photo of you appearing through darkness. Like I'm just seeing you hanging in the dark. It's a very nice experience, and at least the world is moving towards that direction. So it's up for us to go with the times. We are strong on outdoor movies, like I was saying. So we do these screenings that make people get interested in our culture. Of late, we also put our leg in something made in Kenya, and there's massive talent here in Kenya, which we don't know. And you see our tagline is exposing Kenyan hidden gems. We want to beat the drums about those facets about Kenya, which guys don't know. We've centered our business on the authentic Kenyan life. So the authentic Kenyan life revolves around one, family, social community. Kenyans, we have this we love social connections and networks. We bond over meals, things which you see abroad, people are catching coffee together once in a while, but for us, hey, let's meet coffee, let's meet tukule chipo. Like there's that thing, Kenyans really value relationships. And I think that's why there's always a story every other day. Our cuisine, our food, our ugali, our skuma, our nyama choma, just our culture, things which mukimo, like things which to us might seem kawaida, but the whole world would be interested in this. That's something that sets you apart. We have our history, our heritage, we have our landscape. Like, even we as Kenyans never get tired of going. You can go to Naivasha National Park, you can go to Hell's Gate, over and over. You can go to here Nairobi National Park, over and over, and the experience will be different every single time. Like our landscape, our beauty, our story, why are Kenyans Kenyans? So we try and make noise about that. But since it's something we think interests people, we also now bring aspect of Kenyan brands and companies. The Kenyan work ethic is second to none. Like, you'd be shocked to hear in certain countries, or so I hear, people call and say, "Hi boss, I won't come to work today because it's raining." For Kenyans, gumboots, raincoats, like twende kazi itekelezeke. Our work ethic, and I think that's what makes some of our brands, some of the top best brands around the world. And so we also want to show people there is a huge workforce here in Kenya, which is what you need. Our work ethic is second to none. And Kenyan products, we curate very nice things. You see, from fashion, from nutrition, things like our products. You even have, like recently I tested some yogurt. I can't remember the name, Mama Taraji or something. But that, I find this is authentically Kenyan. And people don't know about this. The other day I was seeing a video being played on social media. People are being asked, which is the capital city of Africa? People say, Nairobi. So people just know Kenya kidogo from long distance runners, but at least that also is a gap. That's an opportunity. If they think the capital city of Africa is Kenya, then let's show them this capital city you think of, Nairobi. Let's show you what Kenya is all about.
He happily tells and explains to me about his target group and how they perceive his efforts.
We've noticed now our products, we're segmenting them to different age groups. So again, it might depend on the product or the event, for instance. So for instance, for instance, let me talk of one project we're running. We've partnered with a company called Sport Africa Media. So they're doing a movie called Mino. They made a very nice movie showcasing Kenyan culture authentically, and a story, but also of modern trends. The tagline, the movie will actually be screened on March 24th. That's the other week on Friday at the Nairobi Film Center. And some of our, now that one cuts across anyone who's 18 all the way to 50, because that's the age gap that's been affected by what that tells. So again, it depends on the content of the story. We might be showing a movie that was shot in 1957 in Kenya. Very nice story, but you'll find the target audience for that will be people who are a bit older, who resonate a bit more with that. When it comes to the younger generation, now you'll have to take a direction of, like Marvel, Wakanda, the direction they take. That's the direction now you'll probably be thinking of taking. So it's segmented product. We have products that target the locals. We have products that target the regional players in Africa. Then we have now those ones curated for the outside world to know.
It is said the surest way to corrupt a youth is to instruct him to hold in higher esteem those who think alike than those who think differently. But Reuben, being a young man of culture, what does he instill in the ways of fellas to persuade them to embrace this culture?
There are times you think, what next? Where am I going? Like, I remember then one of the things I used to face so much was fear. There's another sort of fear. You're not afraid to succeed, but you're fearing, am I good enough? There's that fear of, okay, so I'm getting, in school we used to say, kuwa number one ni rahisi. It was very easy to be number one. Maintaining number one, that's hapo ndio kazi iko. And so there's that fear of, now if I get there, if I go out, like nowadays there's a tagline, shoot your shot. So if I shoot my shot and it doesn't get accepted the way I want, or if I'm rejected. So I think it's more fear of rejection. And I'm thankful that in my career, at the time I was selling insurance. In insurance, you face so much rejections, so many rejections. Like, to a point where no now becomes no next opportunity. You turn that thing around. Like you develop some thick skin. Because people are not, it's not personal, they're not rejecting, they're rejecting the product. And so I guess that's how I learned to counter fear. But I'm realizing the more I'm talking to people who are starting out, it's an actual thing. And it's not a fear of succeeding, because everyone wants to succeed. But it's more of, if I get there, one, what if I don't? Or am I good enough? But it's just something in our head that, I don't know, it's maybe what separates the wheat from the chaff. You know how they say the 20-80%? And countering that fear, it might be more easier said than that, but I learned it's exciting. What made me passionate about Promote Kenya? When I was in first year in campus, we were doing a unit called Development Studies. And I remember the lecturer told us she had gone to Norway. And then the people were like, hey, you're from Africa. So how you dress smartly like this and you live in huts, you live in vibanda? She was like, these people, this is what you think about Kenya. So she organized an exchange program for about 7 of them to come. So they came and they were like, wow, you mean their house is better than what we have in our place? So it changed their perception of Kenya. All of a sudden they were like, whatever we see is Vituko ground is different. So I thought, by the way, people need to know. If that's what they think, then it means there are so many other places in the world need to know. And of course, thankfully, the government has made very good efforts. We have our sportsmen who make a name about Kenya. But now I'm thinking, if we ride on that wave, the ripple effect, teach them about culture, bring more numbers. And you see right now, one of the biggest vibes around the world right now is heritage and cultural tourism. So if you can ride on that wave and make noise about Kenya, you can demystify the perception, alter the perception completely. And you can transform the economy through literally marketing and creating awareness about all what we have. We have beautiful brains in Kenya. You saw the other awards recently at CNN. You saw the lady who got funding at Shark Tank. And that's just not a scratch, a tip of the iceberg. Kenya is just beautiful. It's amazing. You go to other places, you see the freedom we have here in Kenya. You get bored on a Saturday, you find plot, you go do a random plot. There are always things to do. There are places where, by the way, on Saturday, if you're not going to a park to see a crocodile, going to an amusement park, there are no things to do. It's literally boring. Culture changes with trends. And Kenya is one of the most fast-paced countries. We really shift with the trends with time. So there's so much, not ignorance, but people don't know. There's a gap there to be filled. But you know, with this generation, especially with the internet and the Internet of Things, the progression, modern technologies, the same way we were being taught about our culture back then is not the same way we do it right now. You need to go with the times, flow with the times. And so as Promote Kenya, we're looking at filling that gap. Just this experiential marketing excites me every day. There are different things you can do to teach people and get the trend. Also with this generation, attention span is very limited. All of a sudden now, even a 47-second or a 1-minute marketing video seems too long. And there was a time we'd make marketing videos for 3 minutes, 2 minutes. You tell a whole story. Now even 1 minute, someone has been patient. Thanks to the rise of TikTok. Very soon, we haven't even seen the rise of TikTok yet. It will blow up with modern things. So those are spaces now we need to leverage and jump into. And now make people interested. Hey, don't forget where you come from. Don't forget our roots. Because like our kids, they don't know so much. There's a gap. For me, I like to see it as an opportunity because it's a real proper opportunity to teach people. But also, it sort of has been a challenge, the misinformation, so we want to rectify that. So partnering with like-minded people, you can come up with a movement, literally. Let's embrace our Kenya. It's ours, ni yetu. So the best we can do is align, of course, follow our leaders and align with what they want, but at the same time, we really showcase what Kenya is all about. The good thing about being Kenyan is, there's this statement I heard someone say, the whole of Africa, Mkenya, Nigeria na South Africa hawambiangwi. Like Kenyans, if they meet out there, we are Kenyans. There's that very interesting unity. Huku chini watasumbuana, oh, Facebook, what, they'll argue funny things. But if it's out there, we're Kenyans. Now, the good thing about being Kenyan ni, Mkenya ambiwangwi. Like Kenyans on Twitter, that's a very, you don't mess with KOT right now. No. There's this thing about being Kenya, it's 2020, go get attitude. Now, with the current times we're living in, young people are doing amazing things. You see highlighted stories of billionaires at 23. People are going for it. All of a sudden, work schedules now, someone works from 6 p.m. to 4 a.m. Back then it used to be 8 to 5. People are delivering all through. Like, there's an accelerated shift in mindset, and I think if we embrace that, kujituma kama Mkenya, kuomoka quote unquote, it's very easy. Like, it's very easy for you to go far when you embrace our nature. That's why we have long distance runners. It typifies our endurance. It typifies how fast we are. There's a huge vibe right now about Kenya.
Reuben knows well what the old men meant when they advised those who want to walk far to walk with others.
With our current generation, guys, there's so much to be demystified about our culture. Like, I personally, I know that we do culture, fragments, bits and pieces, what our parents taught us. Maybe when you go home, kichinja, those functions, the kidogo you learn. But there's a whole book I'm realizing we don't know. Now, that's just my culture. Now, there are things about Mijikenda culture I don't know. Luo, Luya, Kisii, all these tribes, Kamba, there are things about the culture we don't know. And at least right now there's a good focus on Kenyan culture. There's a vibe about heritage tourism. So that's one space we decided as Promote Kenya, let's leverage here. Make this one of our strong fortes and strong points. So Promote Kenya exists to tell people about our culture. We want to create awareness about those gaps about culture which we don't know about. For instance, assume I'm telling you the story of, you can take one hero from your community, for instance, or my community, one of them, let's say Luanda Magere, or something. This, at least the good custodian of facts and research in our country is usually the museums and Ministry of Culture. That's where you get all the information. So we thought, how about we approach them as Promote Kenya? Because for us, we exist to, we want to help government institutions achieve their mandate through our skills, our technology. So we're in that space of bringing new things to modern marketing, disruptive, interactive. That's a space we want to. So we approached the museums, and thankfully, we thank God they agreed to partner with us. We've done a number of events with them to just showcase culture. So there's a whole lot of exciting stuff lined up. We want to spin culture in all different ways, but of course factual, just bring it in an exciting manner. If I made an animation of you, that would excite you. So if there was an animation of something cultural related, that's something you definitely want to learn, and it interests you. We approach bodies like Magical Kenya, KTB, the government institutions, and tell them, we want to achieve you, attain your mandate. See, right now the collective of the government is, let's all pull hands together and accomplish, propel our country forward. So for us, it's more of our skill, what we have, how we can merge it and help you guys attain your mandate. As part of exposing Kenyan hidden gems, we also partner with Kenya Film Classification Board, Kenya Film Commission, Made in Kenya, that to accelerate that conversation. That's why you have guys like Kina Sport Africa. We partner with them to show and create awareness about. Now you see, for them, they produce very good content, produced very good movies, for instance. So we can use this to make noise about Kenya while interesting people in culture. And the reason why we decided to take a bit of focus a bit on screening and movies, I recently learned that in France, they passed a directive that every Friday at 2 p.m., people need to leave work, go to cinemas, and watch movies. But I'm assuming the content they play is the one that spurs economic growth. When you're relaxing from the pressures, literally whoever said mambo ni wengi, masaa ni machache, alijua. Because things, like you wake up, your day has maybe 1 minute, one meeting. One phone call, your day blossoms. It's like things pop up left, right, center, and it becomes such a busy schedule. So I think they decided to turn that in productivity. You have some time for leisure, but you're also using it creatively. And so that's a culture I'm thinking we can try and tell people, let's borrow that culture. Make time and go for movies. Make time and have an experience as you learn. It will refresh your creative abilities, you'll be more productive, and you'll get to learn about Kenya. In actualizing this, we also like to work with like-minded partners who are having the same ambitions. So one of our strongest partners has been Wanderlust Diaries. They focus on travel and destinations, but since they're also in that space of heritage tourism, so we work with them. We have a number of products curated along that, and it's just an exciting journey to be on, literally.
In his parting shot,
there's a statement in Luo that says, chaka chaka, which means just that. Anza tu utajipata. Like literally for me that's what, because when I started, it was just, I was working somewhere. Then that month, due to a breakdown in communication, I didn't get my salary for the month. So now you have a baby, you have diapers, you have all these things you need to cater for. You're expecting money to come, it's not coming. So I remember thinking, now I can use this time to go and fight, clamor for money or what, or I can use this time to channel that energy and try and make something. So even God says, I take care of the ravens of the air. How about you, my children? I was like, answer to toka. It can be anything. Like at times we complicate, tunahitaji mapesa. Of course, we need lots of money to actualize some of the things we want. But pia naonanga si ujilimit sana na hiyo. I think the guiding statement is, what is that in thine hand? Toka tu, tembea, get up, dress up, and show up. I always credit things to God first, of course. He's the one who gave you the tree, the brain, for you to carve and. So, but of course, when I took the bold step, one of the bodies I'll forever be grateful for is the National Museums of Kenya. They took a chance on us to actualize our mandate. Yani it's you remember in biology they used to call it symbiosis. Huwa nasaidika ukisaidika. Mbuzi na the plant. Mutual interdependent relationship. Something like that, yeah. The like-minded partners like in Wanderlust, Sport Africa Media, those guys have been amazing. Our other partners, we've been fortunate to work with a number of county governments. We've also been fortunate to work with Kenya Wildlife Service. Like for me, I'm really proud about our landscape. I keep referring to our heritage, our wildlife. It's beautiful. We don't even know the half of it. Like I was shocked to know there are some national parks I've not been to. You have Sibiloi, you have places. You need to tour all this place. To chambui Kenya yetu bana. Of course, I need to say thank you to family. The family, of course, they give you the support. They're the beacon you use of hope. I have a very supportive spouse, my baby, my motivation, my small child, my friends, the team at Promote Kenya, of guys who really embrace the vision. They have some very good salespeople, guys who are passionate about selling Kenyan brands, companies. They really do a good job. I'm happy working with them. We're just getting started on this journey, but I feel the sky is the limit for us. Let's just keep going on this exciting journey.